Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bit of a dip. Bitcoin down to about $94,000, Ethereum hovering around 3,200, and the rest of the crypto space continue to bleed out as Bitcoin brings fear to the market. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that's been showing strength regardless of this dip, and that project, that ecosystem, is called SUI. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market, because ultimately a lot of us are becoming emotional. Why is that? Because of course we're coming down pretty hard. Bitcoin showing a lot of weakness. The overall market cap, as you can see, currently slightly below the $3.5 trillion mark, down another 4.4% for today. We definitely took the stairs up and came back down with some real aggression, elevator straight down, while the trading volume suggests lots of market participation here in the last little while. Given that's the case, we have to be very, very patient for this bottom. Ultimately, as long as there's volume, as long as there's market participation in this sell-off, guys, we could expect a further continuation to the downside. All right, guys, let's scrape through the top 100 first. We'll take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and then we'll jump right into the SUI chart. Of course, SUI has been showing a lot of strength, and this is decision time. Do we look for big dips, or do we look for sideways strong price action, suggesting that when we do get a recovery, when we do get a bullish bounce, are those strong projects actually going to bounce a lot stronger? And this is obviously part of the thesis, is to buy projects that have strength and to be able to accumulate at bottoms at great risk to reward ratios. Okay, so we'll keep this all in mind. Let's get right into it. You can see that ultimately Bitcoin at the current moment is dragging the market down. It's only down 2.3% at the current moment. Let me quickly refresh to make sure that we got the latest here. 2.3% in the last 24 hours. You can see Ethereum also coming down approximately 3%. Definitely we're seeing the altcoins take a little bit more of a hit here as you keep on going down. You can see that, look, even Cardano 9%. We got Doge 5%, Solana 4.5%. So they are dipping a lot more than ETH. In this case, Bitcoin dominance should be showing strength as well. And of course, guys, we'll talk about Bitcoin dominance. We'll talk about the ETH price and all of this tonight live at 8 p.m. EST. Feel free to join. Of course, you're going to have to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on that. But ultimately, I want to make sure that we're one step ahead here. You know, if Bitcoin continues showing us weakness, we could expect some of these altcoins to reach their bottom level prices before we should be taking risk once again. Of course, the risk to reward ratio has to be integrated into our risk management strategy, right? So right now we're doing pretty good as far as being very patient. I have a lot of capital that I need to deploy still, but I have been, peppering in some buy orders just to get my feet wet on this dip. Now, ultimately, I don't want to go too heavy because I want to make sure that I have enough capital. But you can see a lot of these altcoins are rolling over on this 1 hour fractal. You can see these fractals right here are 1 hour time frame fractals, which means they're shorter term time frames. Okay, so we do big picture analysis to inform ourselves where we can start getting with big moves to the upside, but these small fractals are great to identify maybe quick pivots to the upside where we can get bullish responses so we can change the direction of this trend. Because in the last little while, particularly on the daily, guys, we've been seeing a very bearish trend. Okay, so let's continue going down, and we'll talk about charts and price action, all of that in just a second. Lots of dips, guys. pick your project, guys. We got more dips to the downside, and you can see that even some of these projects are still in the green on the weekly, but little by little they're getting less and less, right? Mantra is still doing good, going sideways, doesn't even phase this dip, of course. And when there's others, for example, SUI, where's the SUI chart? I know SUI's around here somewhere, but ultimately SUI has been showing tons of strength. As you can see, only down 5.7%, but it's still up 9% for the week. But the beta plays on SUI, the ecosystem projects, some of them are doing amazing. Like Cetus is still doing okay, still within structure. We called Deep early here on the channel, it's been killing it, doing very, very well. Also, a lot of good projects are doing great, and we have to identify the strength. So this is why I'm talking about SUI today. As we keep on going down, you can see lots of rollovers, and of course, again, guys, make sure you have that buy list ready to go. Make sure that you have that list, that watch list that you should be right now really zoning in on those projects that you want to accumulate. Keep an eye on on Sonic, previous Phantom, that is going to be wrapping up very, very soon. So make sure that you have a plan on how to convert your Phantom into Sonic, because within the next 24 hours or so, we should see that one-to-one airdrop happening. So be careful, be ready for that. And also, we do have a lot of the AI projects, coming down a little bit. They're holding up pretty good considering, their market cap, but some of them are doing great. They're still doing good within structure. For example, AI16Z is down 10% for today, but it's still like kind of holding the previous low. And big picture, there's still a lot of gains in this market regarding the AI agent narrative. Okay, so lots of good opportunities, guys. This is the time to really starting to become offensive, not defensive. Now you got to become offensive. Are you going to be accumulating? Are you going to be taking a shot here? And especially, when are you going to be taking that shot? Okay, so we're going to be looking at that. Guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin, because ultimately Bitcoin, did give us a big scare today, and it fell pretty hard from the point of control, more or less, all the way down, wicked almost down to about, $94,000, $92,000, $92,500, which is obviously a big dip, right? We know that based on the reactions of the altcoin market, we did get a lot of fear. Now, I've been calling this top for a good while, guys. In fact, this is where I de-risk completely. My history here on Bitcoin is well documented here on this chart. You can see that this is where I got in. Okay, this is where I started accumulating. I have all the videos to suggest that, this is where I was encouraging to get offensive, right? We got to get offensive. Now, all of a sudden, we got a nice impulse up and we started going sideways. This is where I said, you know what? All the gains that I made here, really good gains, I started protecting them. So I exited positions. Now into this level, I'm contemplating on getting bullish again. But guess what, guys? It's not based on the daily. And I'm going to tell you why, because the daily, ultimately, if you look at the oscillator right into this level, if you see what's going on with the momentum, the purple line, it's still on a downtrend, as we discussed yesterday. So as we maintain this downtrend on the daily, I could expect the daily time frame to get oversold. And if it does drop below 30%, guys, it's very likely that we see the price maybe touch this diagonal, maybe revisit the 200 daily, maybe fall through this volume gap and even come as low as about 77, maybe even lower, chop around even 70. Guys, this is all very possible. But in the meantime, level to level. What about if we do get support right around $92,000 and start getting a reversal to the upside? Now, that has a lot to do with the 4-hour structure, the 4-hour thesis. And again, look what's happening here. Tons of, uncertainty to the point that we got a red histogram bar. What a fake out. EMAs crossing right now, coming down to the bearish control zone. Not a good look here on the daily. Guys, be careful, be prepared, because the daily could give you some great buy opportunities at much lower levels. Just keep in mind this head and shoulders formation with the neckline, measured move is coming down to about $77,000. Okay, we don't have to hit all the way there, but we're going to take it level by level. Now, if quickly we get into the 4-hour, you can see that the 4-hour, structure, and we've been tracking this 4-hour for a good while now, because ultimately I did de-risk here. I took a lot of my profits on my margin positions, my leverage positions, and now I'm in some green that I want to redeploy, and I want to make sure that I buy in at good levels. Now, I did buy some AI agents and some real small positions right into this level, and now at this zone I am thinking about reaccumulating and accumulating more, obviously, guys. So I accumulated in this zone, and I am happy with my current spot. Now, what I would love to do is reaccumulate at much lower levels, right? And that could be a level that maybe some of us may not be considering, right? 87,000. Worst case scenario, guys, like I say, we break through the volume gap and come back lower with this empty space coming down to about 77 and closing that CME gap that a lot of people might be contemplating about. Okay, so think about that. The next level where I am taking a lot more risk is 87,000. I've taken enough risk into here, which means I did buy some dips. I did accumulate my average position. I've been correcting and trying to, drag my average cost nice and low as possible. And I'm quite happy with my entries right around here if we get that bounce. And the reason why I am saying that we could get the bounce, because as we speak, we're still making a higher low, number one. Number two, we got many bounces off of this horizontal, 1, 2, 3, right? So far, maybe we're going to go more. Even this one, don't forget that one. But ultimately, if we go back to the original daily thesis and look at this head and shoulders formation, head and shoulders formations only are bearish when they break the neckline, because they change structure, right? They break structure. They come down and actually make a lower low. If it stays above this horizontal line, which is at about 92,000, in fact, this horizontal line is support, and we could get another bounce and in fact go for another higher high, and it starts to look like a broadening wedge. So we have to understand that risk to reward ratio at around 92,000 is super healthy. If you build a position into this level, we could get a bounce, but then again, be prepared for the next zone, 87, and then we'll take it level by level, like I say, maybe 77 at worst case. Guys, this is the time to trade, okay? If you've been waiting on the sidelines, either you're going to be shorting, longing, come up with your thesis. Obviously, at this current moment, it does look like we should be paying attention to 92,000. All right, guys, let's jump right into SUI. In the meantime, as we know that Bitcoin has been showing this weakness right here, even going sideways for that matter, we can see that SUI has in fact been making higher highs and higher lows, without issue, which is a sign of strength. Now, theoretically speaking, when we see a project neutralize market sentiment by either going sideways or in this case still rising, guys, it is a sign of strength, which means that ultimately if and when the market does reverse and start going bullish once again, what is going to happen to SUI with all this strength? Supply basically is not outperforming demand. Demand is outperforming supply. There's more demand than there is supply in bearish conditions. Guys, that is super strong. That is a really good signal that when the bulls come back to play, there were already bulls still bidding it up. There's too much bullishness here, which is really good. So neutralize, get a full reset while price action is moving up, guys. That's a sign of a lot of strength. Okay, so this is why I wanted to talk about SUI today. Number one, because it's showing strength, and number two, it is a large cap. Okay, so focus on your large caps right now, because they could be good indications as to what we should be doing in the next little while. And slowly we'll rotate into those mid and low cap altcoins as we see strength in Ethereum and so on and so forth. Okay, now as you can see, momentum here. Let's get on the daily, because I did show you the 4-hour here. We'll get back into the 4-hour. The momentum on the daily is still coming down. So there is now 3 drives of bearish divergence. Okay, so although it's showing strength by the upward price action, the momentum is coming down. That is 3 drives of bearish divergence. It's usually not a good look. However, we have to respect the fact that the price is still climbing. Okay, is the volume still here? It's diminishing a little bit. I'm going to quickly just make this smaller. I'm going to make this a bit smaller as well, and I'm going to expand this, and I'm going to just move this up. You can see that ultimately the volume right into here is falling a little bit. Okay, so it's also not a good look. We want market participation in this pump, but still, the fact that it's rising is such a good look, right? Ultimately, now the divergence can come in. It could definitely come in, and we could get some follow through to the downside. But the first thing to usually happen when we do get the follow through from divergences, whether it be 2 drives or 3 drives, is a change of character. Okay, we need to stick with market structure. Momentum is fine. You're going to look at oscillators, great. Look at the volatility. It's still pushing down. We got some red dots confirming that we're coming down. I get it. It looks great for a short. I understand. But the reality is if we can get a dead cat bounce into here, or some sort of lower high, a confirmation of a change of character, let's begin by a lower high, and then let's make a lower low, and then let's make a lower high, and then all of a sudden, guess what this looks like? A nice rounded top, you know, inverse head and shoulder business, shoulder, head area, shoulder, and then neckline right around here. We start dipping. All right, then we're in. Then we're ready to go. But in the meantime, the trend is your friend. It's still higher highs and higher lows, despite the divergence. Guys, you know how many times I saw bearish divergences get invalidated in a bull run? So, of course, a lot of this is based on the fact is the thesis, the major thesis is that we're in a bull run. If you don't think we're in a bull run, guys, this ideology that we have here based on the crypto cycle is done. Like, you have to really pivot. But ultimately, I think we're in a bull run. And I do think that ultimately we're going to be starting to see some of these altcoins reverse. The question is when. Now, the last time we came down to this level, which is the chop zone, right around 50%, we got a reversal and we got a massive higher high, which is beautiful. Now, what about if we come down to the chop zone again, like we just did, a little bit of a reset, we get support on the chop zone and we go up for another higher high by getting overbought again. And then we go start expanding once more. This is also very possible. Okay, so what I'm looking for mostly is where the best opportunity is. And despite the bullishness in this chart, the best opportunity still remains at about $3 and still at about $2.32. We have confluence with the 200 daily. We have confluence with the previous high. We have the volume gap there that is going to suggest a lot of emotion. We got this previous low, which is the base of the breakdown, which is the move, the measured move, or the target of a breakdown of one of these types, where we have a channel like this. And especially if we do get some sort of signal of divergence, and then of course more importantly follow through, because if we get follow through, we can start, you know, developing a thesis on a change of character, which suggests instead of making higher highs and higher lows, we are going to make a lower lows and lower highs, and that would be a change of character. Okay, so very important stuff here. The pivot could happen. In the meantime, SUI is showing a lot of strength. Now, if you start zooming in on lower time frames and you're like saying, you know what, Mike, you know, we are touching the trend line right now. Maybe I'm going to get into a long position. Sure, why not? Just make sure that your invalidation is clear. Invalidation on this bounce is literally the wick, the tip of the wick, $4.38. Be careful, because look how many invalidation levels you have. You have one here, you have one here, you have one here, and these diagonal support lines do play a lot of games like that. This is why I like horizontals, and this is why I wait for structures to give me such horizontals, such as the necklines of a head and shoulders formation. Nice horizontal support with a clear neckline, a clear break of that neckline, we go short. You get what I mean? So this is where we're at right now, is we're trying to play the time frames, and this is a good chart because literally if you compare SUI with Bitcoin and what Bitcoin's doing, SUI's doing pretty good, but Bitcoin is one step ahead. Bitcoin is already making this type of structure on the daily, and it's currently battling for the 4-hour time frame to pivot and get support on its neckline. So this is where where charts kind of play into one another, and you can use charts as indicators for one another. And ultimately, as a large cap of SUI, you look, it could be one of those projects like Solana and Ethereum where we need them to be around to raise capital, to bring capital into this market, and ultimately cause that rotation into the low caps that we're waiting for, the altcoin season. All right, guys, so if I've offered you any value here in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. See you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we're going live. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip. Thank you.